Hey everybody, it's Mark with Mark's Home Hobbies. Another little afternoon Luthier session here. Before another gig tonight, going to be playing an Elks Club. Yeah, so just thought I'd show you guys another little sample of some Luthier skills. This is my little toolbox, kind of everything in there. This is what I'll be using. 91 isopropyl alcohol, paper towel, pair of glasses, fret file from my father, a couple of fret guards, neck guards there, fretboard guards, maybe a piece of fluffed up Scotch-Brite there. The neck is shiny, so I don't really want to wreck it by putting scratches on it, so I think I'm just going to wipe it down with that stuff there. And you can see this is in pretty rough shape. It's been gigged a few times, and it's got a lot of fingerprints and a lot of sweat. That's a badass tube bridge right there. This, by the way, here is a 20-year-old Fender Geddy Lee jazz bass. Yeah, solid maple neck. So it has the jazz pickups. It has the grease pot tone system, and it has some 3D printed vintage custom knobs. I didn't like the knobs that were on there when I got it, so I 3D printed some knobs and they turned out pretty cool. They say volume, tone on the top, or volume, tone. I'm sorry. Yeah, you can see there's a bunch of yucky looking stuff on there. I don't know if you're getting in the light, but I sweated and put my hands all over it. And tuning keys could use a good polishing. The neck probably can use straightening. The strings are pretty new though, so I'm going to leave those alone and just clean them up. Got Fender strings on there too, by the way. So anyhow, okay, on to the cleaning and the job. We're going to polish the frets a little bit if needed, just to remove any crud or any little divots, and just a light tapper there. And we're going to check the nut up here too, because if I can recall, this has a very oh yeah, this has a problem with the nut. Okay, we may end up doing some real work today, folks, so stay tuned. Alright, there you can see the fretboard protector in place, and if you look at those frets, especially that first one there, I don't know if you're getting a good shot of that there, but let's see if we can clean that up a bit. But yeah, anyways, you can just see right there, there's little divots in it from where I've been hitting on it, and I play this guitar pretty hard. There's divots on all these frets basically, so I think the most prudent thing to do would be to just stress these frets a little bit here. This is such a beautiful guitar. I love to play it, so I'm going to take it out and play it tonight. And yeah, so I'm going to go over this right here and go over the frets, and I'll bring you back when I'm done and show you the finished product. Hey everybody, this is Mark again. Yep, so I'm finished with the fret job now, and you can see those frets gleaming in the moonlight, all nice and leveled down. Neck is adjusted. The problem I was having up here with this nut is the same problem I'm having on my Schecter from tuning the strings and using round wound strings for all these years. It eventually wears away at the plastic nut that's in there, and makes the bass or the string sit down too low in the nut, and it doesn't give you enough space to grab a note to press down the string. You know, it's already fretted up here. So yeah, so what I did was I just took a piece of real thin metal shim stock, and I bent it around the string there on the bottom side of it and put it underneath, and that seemed to do the trick without raising the string height up too much. So I definitely have to do a nut on this guitar right here, but the neck turned out spectacular, I think. The frets are really good. I only had a couple of bad ones that were down here that required any kind of extra effort. The rest of these, just a light, you know, back and forth a few times, and that's it, just to remove the outside layer. You don't want to take off any material, cause yourself extra problems. Back here, the pickups, I have to say something about the way they mount these pickups here. For being as expensive of a guitar as this is, it's around $1,000 retail guitar. You would think they'd have a better mounting system for these pickups, because what happens is there's a little piece of foam rubber underneath the pickup, and when you screw these screws in, it compresses that foam, and then that holds the tension on the screws there. Well, eventually what happens is that foam rubber underneath there loses its springability, and the pickup wants to rattle around inside of there. So I think what I'm going to do is take them out and put me a couple of springs underneath there, and we'll hope that, you know, does the problem, because look how far I can't adjust the pickups anymore because they'll rattle. Okay, so I'm losing all that tone. You know, there's a ½ inch of space between the strings and the pickup, and I can't adjust it up any further than that. So bad design on Fender right there. Boo. You got a little bit too cheap, and luckily they made up for it on the badass bridge a little bit. That is a nice bridge. The electronics inside of here are the same thing. They're just cheap. They don't use any kind of good components. You know, everybody's just going cheap nowadays. So this guitar, like I said, if it wasn't for the name brand on there and the style of guitar, I really wanted a guitar with a blonde maple neck, and this is what I chose. I like the finish on it, the 3-color sunburst, tobacco burst they call it, and I like the 3-ply pickguard. I do like the badass bridge on the back there, and it plays pretty good. I like it, although I'm not Geddy Lee by any means. I'm no slouch. So I'm going to get out there and play some rock and roll tonight, and I'll bring you back if I got any other updates on the guitar. But when I make that, I was going to tell you about the brass nut. Here's what I decided to do. Since brass is so expensive, I had some of this brass rod laying around, and it's about the same thickness as the nut slot. So what I'm going to do is I've pounded it down there, the hammer, and I'm going to manufacture it into a new nut to replace this nut up here. And when I get done with it, it'll be all bright and shiny. Right now it's kind of dull and corroded and pounded on because my vise is dirty. So, but yeah, I'll have a brand new nut to replace that nut up there, which is junk. And I'll say that to Fender right to their face if they ask me, because anybody that could sell a $1,000 guitar that doesn't at least have a bone nut in it, it's crazy. Not for that kind of money. If you're going to buy a $200 guitar, okay, I could see putting a plastic nut in it, but you're selling a $1,000 guitar that's supposed to be a representation of a high-end guitar used by more professional players. You don't put a plastic nut in there. Just like you don't put no-name components in your electronics section or put sponges underneath your pickups. What a bunch of cheapos. I love Fender equipment, but it's just so cheap. And this is 20 years ago they did this too. This is not new to Fender. So just think how much money they've been making off you all these times by selling you these expensive guitars for thousands of dollars and putting this ultra cheap garbage equipment on there. Alright, well, if you stuck around this long, thanks a lot. If you're a new subscriber, thanks even more. If you're into luthiery, which I know some of you are, leave me a thumbs up. Might want to subscribe because you're going to see more of this. I'm thinking about doing a series on Saturdays. So anyhow, if you had fun and you enjoyed it, give me a thumbs up. Subscribe if you want to see more. If you want to see some more RC car stuff, that's coming up too. I got a big one coming up on that one too. So anyways, this is Mark with Mark's Home Hobby saying see you in the next one.